Hi, I'm Rick Dior, and today we're going to work on our left foot hi-hat coordination, and I'm calling this video a hi-hat jazz coordination sequence. So it'll all be involving the left foot playing different ostinatos and then coordination with the rest of the kit. I've done several of these videos with different kinds of Latin music, different kinds of jazz. This one will be focused, like I said, just on the left foot. All these exercises will be from my book, Advanced Coordination for Drum Set and Hand Percussion. Also, we won't have a close-up of my left foot today, so if you're curious about the technique I use for splashing, just refer to my bass drum hi-hat technique video, and I will post a link to that in the description. So we're going to start on page 180 of my book. I'll post it up here. These are just basic rhythms, syncopated rhythms, similar to what you'd find in many, many books, including Ted Reed's Syncopation, the New Breed books, any book with eighth notes and quarter notes. You can also do this using pages 7, 8, and 9 of my book in 16ths, but to keep it simple reading-wise, we're just going to use this page today. So I will post this on the screen so you can see it throughout most of the video. We'll start with the most basic hi-hat jazz rhythm that everybody knows, 2 and 4, and we'll play through this exercise at quarter note equals 220. So I'll put the metronome on 110 and I'll be playing 2 and 4 with the click. So here we go with that. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you see there, as we've done in many of my other jazz coordination videos, including the series 1, 2, 3, and 4, I'm playing those rhythms up and down. So I'm alternating, not all the time. Every time you do it, it should be a little bit different. But I'm taking that rhythm and I'm basically breaking it up between my left hand and my bass drum while the hi-hat's playing 2 and 4. And that's the concept we'll use throughout the lesson today. So we'll do the same exact rhythm, but we'll do it differently each time, a little bit differently. So I'll improvise. You don't have to go exactly alternating. You can play 2 snares, 2 bass drums, whatever. You should try to make it different. Also, as many different exercises and pages of rhythms you can do would be great. So the next logical thing to do after doing that 2 and 4 hi-hat is to open one of them. So let's say we just open the second one. That would sound like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can open it on the second one or the last one. It's really exactly the same, pretty much. So that would be the next progression of it. Then you could do all of them open, so it would sound a little like a disco hi-hat, like this. And that's similar to doing all 4, like a Tony Williams thing like this. But we're opening every other one, so we'll try that. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's definitely a viable thing. Al Foster, the great jazz drummer, uses that quite a bit. Finally, you can do, like I said before, the Tony Williams thing where it's all four on the hi-hat. That's actually the most difficult one of all of these for a lot of my students. I'll play that for you. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So those different hi-hat sequences or rhythms are really important to get those down first before you move on to this next section, which is going to be much trickier. Now, if you turn to page 73 in my book, I'll put it up on the screen here, you'll see 43 different hi-hat foot patterns. And these are meant to be used with the section that precedes it, with the two-way jazz coordination exercises. So now we're getting into triplet exercises and slower. So the things I just played can be played any tempo, slow and fast. These are meant for kind of medium, maybe medium up tempos, and also slower tempos. So you see exercises 1 through 15. These exercises are what we just kind of did. Everything that's basically a quarter note, or on 2 and 4, or on all 4, those kinds of things. So number 15 is the one I want to look at with you real quick before we go on to the next section. That's a hemiola. It's an implied 3/4 within 4/4, and that sounds like this. So that's a really good one to do and work on, and I've talked about this in a few other videos. But let's go back and do the same rhythms that we just did on page 180 with these. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you see that comes around every 3 bars. And that's a really nice one. You could put that open on any note. In other words, you could put it on the 1, the 2, or the 3. So going back to page 73, starting with number 16, you have these triplets. Now obviously we don't have time today to go through 43 different exercises. The video would be 5 hours long. But we're going to pick some that I really like and show you some of those. The pages that work really well with these are the beginning of this section. So page 62, the Jazz Independence exercises, that starts it. And then, of course, you have after that the Jazz Independence solo, or etude, which starts on page 68. And that's what we'll look at today. We'll just do like the first 4 lines or so to save some time. And I'm going to go through several iterations of these triplets that I like to do. And I wrote some down here, and I'll put them on the screen as well. The first one is the upbeat triplet that I really like. And you can do this a number of ways. So it's the 3rd note of the triplet like this. That works really great for shuffles. It's also good for fills. Drummers like Roy Haynes did that all the time, where he'd put it on the third beat. So this builds strength and timing using that particular rhythm. So if you do that rhythm and you go to page 180 once again, and we do it around quarter note equals 160, which would mean 80 on 2 and 4, this is what that sounds like. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a real tricky one. So that works great for these on page 180, as well as the earlier jazz coordination exercises. And then you can start to do the opens. So if I do an open, it sounds like this. Now that's physically hard. You'll notice when you do that, your calf will start to burn a little until you get strong enough. I'll play a little of that, same tempo. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, start like that, and you can stop and take a break until you develop lots and lots of strength. Eventually, you play all the way through it without any problem. Then you can do every other one, and that's interesting as well. That sounds like this. So these are just the start. You know, if you go to that one page, like I said, with all the hi-hat figures, 73, there's so many of them on there. So, you know, I usually would spend maybe a month on each one, really making sure I could play it really strong. And if you do this, you're not going to just sit there and start playing these things like an exercise when you're playing live, but what it does, it really strengthens your left foot. So you could pretty much do anything at any time for soloing or playing. And that's what you want, you know, playing grooves, playing time, soloing. You want to have that ability to think of something and play it. And of course, that's what all these exercises are for, you know, using them musically. And when people say, and they write in books, these exercises are meant to be played musically, that's what they mean. You're developing the technique to do whatever's in your head. So immediately you think of something and you can play it without getting tripped up. So that's the whole bonus to these exercises. So I'll play a little for you. I hope this helped you out. This is kind of a, you know, year-long study at least, working on these hi-hat things, but it's totally worth it. It's very modern, and I think we've just, you know, started doing this in the evolution of drumming. Probably in 30, 40 years, there'll be drummers doing unbelievably complicated things with their hi-hat. But right now, you know, we're doing clave, splash clave, all these jazz rhythms. That's a lot, so try to be satisfied with that. All right, so I'll just play a little.